The Battle of Marathon, 490 BC. The Persian Empire, under the mighty hand of Darius I, was relentless in its pursuit of dominance. Its power stretched across the known world, swallowing lands and peoples alike. Yet the Greeks stood defiant. They were not only defending their lands but also their very way of life, one founded on independence, freedom of thought, and deep spiritual traditions. Central to this defiance was Athens, where the Greeks saw themselves as protectors of a unique heritage, born of centuries of wisdom, philosophy, and faith. The conflict between Persia and Greece had deep roots. The Ionian Revolt was merely the spark. Greeks in Ionia, who lived under Persian rule, had risen up in rebellion, calling to their Athenian kin for aid. Athens, bound by blood and culture to their cousins, answered, sending ships and soldiers to fight Persian oppression. Though the rebellion was crushed, it revealed the Persian Empire's vulnerability and further strained relations between the two powers. Yet the revolt was not the sole cause of Darius' campaign. His ambition for the conquest of Greece had always been clear. The revolt gave him an excuse, a just cause to rally his forces and bring Greece under Persian dominion. It wasn't just about land, it was about control over knowledge and spiritual freedom. The Greeks represented a threat not just militarily, but culturally. Darius sought to extinguish this flame of independent thought and impose Persian rule over a fiercely autonomous people. By 490 BC, the invasion had begun. Darius unleashed his forces, sending a Persian fleet to conquer the Greek mainland. The fleet seized several Greek islands, securing footholds before finally landing near the town of Marathon, a short distance from Athens. The Persians, numbering 25,000 strong, were prepared to crush the Greeks and bring them under Persian rule. Their intent was not only to defeat Athens but to crush the soul of Greek civilization. It was on this fateful day that a lone Greek hero emerged, Pheidippides. A brave Athenian soldier, Pheidippides had been among the scouts who first saw the Persian fleet approaching. Realizing the danger, he took it upon himself to run the grueling distance back to Athens, some 42 kilometers, to warn his people. His legs pounded the earth as he raced against time, his mind focused on only one thing, saving Athens. As he entered the city, breathless and near collapse, he gasped out his message, "The Persians, they come by sea, an army too great to count." With those words, Pheidippides fell to the ground, having given his life to deliver the warning. His sacrifice would live on in legend, a symbol of the unbreakable spirit of Athens. The story of his run would inspire the creation of the Marathon, a testament to his heroic effort. Athens responded with speed and determination. A force of 10,000 hoplites was immediately mobilized, marching toward Marathon to meet the Persian threat. These hoplites were no mere soldiers, they were warriors shaped by the harsh realities of war, dedicated to defending their land and preserving their freedom. They were men of deep faith, bound to the gods who protected their city. Poseidon, god of the sea and storms, stood at the heart of Athenian devotion. To the Athenians, it was Poseidon who would guide their ships and protect their shores from invaders. As they prepared for battle, the Athenians prayed for his favor, calling on him to unleash his wrath upon the Persian fleet. But Athens was not alone in its hope for reinforcements. The Athenians sent word to Sparta, seeking the aid of the renowned Spartan warriors. However, the response was delayed. The Spartans, caught in the middle of a religious festival, refused to march until it was completed. Behind this decision, whispers of influence from Persian sympathizers in the Spartan oligarchy stirred. The seeds of division were already taking root, and the famed Spartan warriors would not arrive in time to stand with their Greek brothers. Despite the lack of Spartan support, Athens marched to battle. At Marathon, the Greek army of 10,000 hoplites faced the Persian horde, vastly outnumbered but unshaken in their resolve. Dressed in their gleaming bronze armor, the hoplites stood in phalanx formation, shoulder to shoulder, shields locked together, forming an impenetrable wall of steel. Their spears bristled in front of them like a forest of sharp iron, ready to meet the charge of the Persian invaders. The Persians, a mix of archers, infantry, and cavalry, poured from their ships onto the plains. Confident in their numbers and accustomed to victory, they underestimated the determination and tactics of the Greeks. The Persian army sought to overwhelm the Greeks through sheer force, but the brilliant Athenian general Miltiades had other plans. Miltiades used a cunning strategy to defeat the Persians. Knowing his forces were outnumbered, he thinned the center of his lines, intentionally drawing the Persians in. The Persians, believing they were breaking through the Greek ranks, pressed forward. But at the same time, the stronger Greek flanks swung inward, trapping the Persians in a deadly pincer movement. With their backs to the sea and nowhere to retreat, the Persian soldiers were slaughtered. The battle raged as the Greeks pushed forward, their spears driving deep into Persian lines. Persian blood stained the sands of Marathon as their bodies piled high on the shore. The Athenian hoplites, driven by their faith in their gods and their desire to protect their homeland, fought with unmatched fury. Their battle cries echoed across the battlefield as the Persian lines crumbled. The ocean ran red with the blood of the defeated invaders, and the Persian fleet was forced to retreat. By the day's end, 6,400 Persians lay dead, while the Greeks lost only 192 men. The victory at Marathon was not just a military triumph, it was a victory for Greek independence and the preservation of their spiritual and intellectual heritage. Athens had stood alone against the might of Persia and emerged victorious. The gods had smiled upon their efforts, and Poseidon's favor had helped turn the tide. Though Darius' forces had been defeated, this was only the beginning. Furious at the loss, Darius vowed revenge and began preparations for a new invasion, but death claimed him before he could see it through. It would fall to his son, Xerxes, to finish what his father had started. Xerxes would return with an even greater force, determined to bring Greece under Persian rule and crush the independent spirit that had dared defy them. But for now, the Battle of Marathon stood as a beacon of hope, a reminder that even the greatest empires could be turned back by those who fought for freedom, faith, and the survival of their ancient knowledge. Athens had won, but the specter of Persian imperial power still loomed large on the horizon.